Casey Goodson died back in December of 2020, only 23 years old at the time. Over the years, his family tells me they've had to deal with indescribable heartache as this case slowly makes its way through the court system.
We relive it every day because we can't put an end to it because there's not an end to it.
The years go by, but for Tamala Payne, the pain is still unbearable. Every day working through the loss of her son, Casey Goodson Jr.
Every morning I drop my kids off at school. I drive out to the cemetery to see my son, every morning. And it's just, some days you wake up and can't believe that he's just not here, so it's still unbelievable.
Former Franklin County Deputy Jason Meade facing murder and reckless homicide charges in connection with Goodson's death. The autopsy revealed he was shot 6 times, 5 in the back. Meade claims Goodson was turning towards him and pointed a gun. There is no body camera footage of the shooting. This week, Meade's trial was set for October 30th. Jury selection days before on the 27th.
Every day that they've had to struggle just to tell this story and to hope that it's one day heard in court.
Goodson family attorney Sean Walton telling us it's been a stressful few years for the family.
Justice delayed is justice denied, and that's where we are here.
For Payne, the wait, certainly not easy.
I just kind of put it in God's hands, and I said in God's time it would come, and we just prayed our way through it, and I knew it would come.
The Goodson family attorney tells me there will be another court date before the trial starts, but he's confident after nearly 3 years, this case will finally make its way through the court system. We'll follow along every step of the way. Rodney Dunigan reporting.
Parade.
The Linden community, the center of the city's Juneteenth celebrations Monday. The community coming together in love and peace for a living history lesson. A day of excitement and togetherness. The streets of Linden filled with both Monday.
For the first time in the history of our city, we're having the first ever Juneteenth parade. It's never been done, and it's exciting because it embodies everything that this city is all about: freedom, unity, and then black love and black pride.
Let's go! Wake up, Linden, wake up! Today, the agenda is anti-violence. And we want to work with the youth to turn them around from having all these issues that we're having up in our community. And it takes dialogue, and it takes communication, and it takes bringing them into the group instead of having them separate. So that's what we're doing.
The community's Juneteenth parade and neighborhood festival commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans.
We want to uplift everyone, and we got to suppress this violence. And events like this is doing just that: getting the youth involved, getting the families involved, and getting the unity and getting the community involved.
This is very exciting because I've been waiting for this day to come. This is Juneteenth. We celebrated our culture from being free from slavery. I went to the event downtown. It didn't look like this, so I'm especially glad that it's way better, especially inside of my community.
Happy Juneteenth!
This gathering also celebrating the strength and resiliency of this community, reflecting all that's good here. Organizers of Monday's festivities say the most important part about this event is to serve as a shining example of progress and positivity to the youth in the community. In Linden, Rodney Dunigan reporting. Ohio continues to deal with serious issues involving youth in the community. Former Buckeye Mecca Don is looking to tackle the problem from a different approach.
My spirit's uplifted. I know that we gifted.
Mecca Don creating a new musical anthem.
My goal is to get it. I wrote for my children.
The message, an important one, he says, ahead of Father's Day.
Well, first of all, I think there are a number of great fathers out here who are doing great things, and I think, so this in a way kind of highlights that.
The song called Carry It On, about legacy and leaving the world a better place than you found it.
If this could provide some encouragement for people to step up, I think that would be great.
Don tells us it's important for fathers to step up in their communities.
I'm telling them thank you. Wa alaikum salam.
Passing down vital, positive information to their kids. It also ties into some of the important messages surrounding Juneteenth, including community unity. All of it laid out in his new song and video.
My father is actually in this video. My son and my daughter are actually in this video. So there's some unique ways that you'll see us kind of passing the torch in the video when you actually see it. But I think it's important to just to kind of highlight that.
The message and images powerful, a reflection of what dads should be.
They did it before me, I carry it on.
Mecadon gave us exclusive access to the song and video images. The project will be released to the public on Father's Day, Sunday, June 18th on all streaming platforms. He tells me he hopes fathers take the message and push positivity within their homes and families. Rodney Dunigan reporting. Celebration, education, and fun. Reynoldsburg, definitely the place to be Saturday. The city hosting their annual Juneteenth celebration. The theme for the event, Voices of Freedom.
It's important that we continue to make sure that our American history is told from our perspective, because if we don't tell our own story, we allow someone else to write our story. And it's important that not only do we celebrate our history, but we have a good time doing it.
Juneteenth is a federal holiday that commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans.
It's about embracing our diversity in Reynoldsburg and making sure that everyone does truly feel welcome.
Bringing to the stage now! ABC 6, Fox 28 was proud to take part. Organizers inviting me in to host festivities.
So let's invite her back on up to the stage.
The family-friendly event aimed at not only educating the public, but also bringing people together in peace. This weekend's celebration, bringing history to life. In Reynoldsburg, Rodney Dunigan reporting. Columbus city leaders say this new arts initiative is an effort to make the city more inclusive and more of a true reflection of the community. The Christopher Columbus statue stood outside City Hall since the 1950s. But in the summer of protest and racial reckoning in 2020, some, including Mayor Andrew Ginther, said it split the community.
It don't represent us. It just represents a lot of racism.
The statue, like many across the country at the time, the target of vandalism. Protesters spoke out en masse.
We could just get Columbus back to an awesome city.
The Columbus Arts Commission responded to the mayor's request to remove it. Tuesday, the city announcing another step in the process of change that started nearly 3 years ago. $3.5 million in funding to create new public art, not only on the City Hall campus, but in other public spaces as well. In a statement, the mayor saying in part, the city is taking the next step in rewriting our narrative. The goal is to create diversity within the community. The city will be reaching out to the public for insight on new public art displays and symbols that will represent all of Columbus. Rodney Dunigan reporting. As a part of this program, more than 300 kids citywide are getting on-the-job training with unique internships. City leaders say it's an effort to set them up for future success. We've been tracking the issues for some time. Communities across Columbus dealing with violence.
It hurts. It's unreal.
In a number of cases, kids, the victims, and the suspects. Families torn apart. We've spoken to many of those impacted.
We miss her so much. She was beautiful. My first grandchild.
Consider these numbers. In the first half of this year, the city of Columbus saw 67 homicides, 15 of those victims 21 and under. City leaders looking to address the issues through targeted youth programs.
It's important for us to prepare our students for the careers of the future.
Wednesday, more than 300 kids pulled into the Columbus Convention Center. The youngsters, interns placed with businesses this summer, receiving training, taking part in workshops, a positive outlet.
I think it's extremely needed. I think our kids are, learning a lot about themselves. They're meeting new people, meeting new friends. I ultimately think that helps curb the violence too. When you're here, you're meeting new people, from different sides of town that you ordinarily wouldn't go to school with or talk to. I think that also helps, kind of bring it all together.
The students involved in the city's jobs program range in age from 14 to 19. The plan is to keep them out of trouble and on the right track. In the coming weeks, we'll be tracking the effectiveness of these programs and if they're truly making an impact. Rodney Dunigan reporting. The Bionic Limb Loss Support Group works to help people recover not only physically but mentally as well. Members talking through problems together as they try to move forward in life.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It haunted me for a long time.
The loss of a limb can be devastating, whether from a health issue or a severe accident. Timothy Wilson knows that firsthand, losing his left leg in a motorcycle wreck.
It was the day that changed my life forever.
It's not all the time. Let's just say family.
In an effort to push past the pain and help others, he created the Bionic Limb Loss Support Group.
I just don't like physical pain.
Wilson inviting us in for a recent session. The group settings often emotional.
Like up here, it gets challenging.
This is my first situation where you sit down and we just talk. We just talk and we relate. And you give the insight or you just listen.
Isaiah Peed, a former NFL running back who also played for the University of Cincinnati, lost his right leg. The former star athlete telling his story in hopes of helping others weather their personal storms.
Doors are closed, it's us, and let's talk and let's get vulnerable a little bit, which was good. It was really good.
For Wilson, this is a labor of love, a push of support for those who need it. The overall aim of the group is to motivate others, to show them that they can get through the pain and hard times, stressing there's always someone willing to help. Rodney Dunigan reporting. Enough is enough. That's the word we keep hearing when it comes to issues of violence in the city. A longtime business owner shaken up after shots go off right outside of his shop in broad daylight.
At about 1:20 in the afternoon, there were approximately 12 or maybe 15 gunshots.
He didn't want to show his face, concerned for the safety of his staff, but he certainly wanted his worries to be heard.
There ought to be some more things that we could do to be safe.
Thursday afternoon, shots fired right outside of his Linden area business along Joyce Avenue. The victim hit with a bullet right across the street in Maloney Park.
Probably 10 cruisers responded.
He tells us, unfortunately, this neighborhood no stranger to gunplay. The building housing his business has been hit numerous times. Deadly violence up citywide in comparison to last year. As of June 14th, 73 homicides across the city. This time last year, 58. This business owner tracking the millions the city is pouring into safety and security, from youth programs to improvements at local parks. He says the numbers going in the wrong direction. He hopes to see some improvements soon.
Trying to do everything I can to protect our workers and employees.
He admits the change won't come overnight, but stresses something has to give. Lives are literally hanging in the balance. Rodney Dunigan reporting. The Linden community has a rich history. Those who live and work here have a deep passion for this area, but it has seen its fair share of crime and violence. Leaders of a new outreach group are trying to change the narrative and highlight what's positive here.
I don't think we've arrived yet as an African American community, but we're still pushing through.
Mayo McKinday pushing to make an impact here in Linden. He says his mission, an important one.
You have a positive future regardless of where you live at, if you try.
His focus, building up this area. He's part of a group organizing the area's first ever Juneteenth parade.
Better is the good, and there's more good that people don't hear. So this would be some of the good things that people can't say about Linden.
Not only is this event about commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, it's also about uniting this community.
This is a place that people can live and raise their children and do well, and children will do well, and their children can become the LeBron James and the Barack Obamas of tomorrow.
Organizers of this effort say it's all about educating the public and bringing this community together in peace. In Linden, Rodney Dunigan reporting.